let's understand from Maria and Preeti first. Maria, to you first.
Gaurav was too close to me, that's why I was...
Is caste, voting on caste lines still very much a reality in Bihar, Maria?
Akshata, I think Maria, she posed a question,
Maria,
is caste still a big reality in Bihar?
Yes, caste is, Akshita, a pan-India reality. That's the truth. But it becomes sharper in the context of Bihar because of land owning or land settlements, or should I say, the way there is a gap between the haves and the have-nots. But you know, I also feel that this binary actually reduces the larger prism through which Bihar should be looked at. Remember, this is the crucible of Indian politics in many ways. The biggest agrarian movement has happened in Bihar. Bihar gave the call in 1974 of total revolution. The fact is that Bihar was the voice of social engineering and social movements. So to say that just caste defines Bihar may not be correct. But yes, I agree with Rajdeep when he says that the new deciding factor in the context of Bihar is the Mahila. When you travel across Bihar, and I've been on ground for the last 8 days, you do hear a very vociferous voice. This is not a silent voter. The women of Bihar are loud. They are very clear. They are speaking with great clarity, and they are speaking about their choices. But at the same time, while we talk about that 10,000 rupees being given into accounts of some women just ahead of elections, there is also a section, and I've been meeting a lot of them, who are saying that they have not got that money. So I would say that women who emerged as a caste neutral constituency till 2020 may be returning to their caste in this election.
Preeti, what do you think? Do you think that, you know, in the past elections that you've covered versus now, the caste is a bigger factor, or has it changed? Because many would think that, you know, with time going by, 21st century India, caste shouldn't matter. What do you think?
Well, you know, Akshata, one would be in denial if you don't accept that caste is a big reality where the state of Bihar is concerned. Gaurav might say that the combine of Yadav and Muslim is enough to win an election. It's not enough to win an election basically because of caste. And why so? The Kurmis might be 2.6%, but the entire non-Yadav OBCs makes about 28%, which vote Nitish Kumar, which actually vote the NDA, the BJP. The EBC comes into question, which is close to about 32-33%. They all have the backing they all back Nitish Kumar. There is a reason why these watertight compartments and molds have been set in, and that is why this election has always gone down the same way. The other thing, Maria, you know, what Maria also said, and and what Rajdeep touched on, Akshata, is let's look at, you know, let's divide it. All political parties might come and say caste doesn't matter. The Bharatiya Janata Party, 49% of their votes, of their seats that they're given to the upper caste. The RJD, 49% of their seats that they've given to the MY combine that you speak of, Muslim Yadav combine. You talk about the JDU, the EBC is their biggest vote bank, and 51% of seats distribution has happened where 51% of them have gone to the EBC. So, you know, the parties themselves understand that caste matters. They can say what they might. What I think would be a differentiator, one both Maria and Rajdeep touched on where Bihar is concerned, which is the woman vote. Because it breaks stereotypes, it's broken the caste mold in the past. The other vote, which I think this time around could break that caste mold in the state of Bihar, is the youth. The migrant vote, which till now has been spoken of and accepted very openly but never really part of political conversation, is being spoken of this time. Right from Jan Swaraj to the Congress to the BJP, you know, to you have the JDU. Yeah. Suddenly the young youth of Bihar, you know, that has to leave the state is now, who will bring them back, is finally an election issue. So I think two factors could break the caste mold, if at all, in a state in Bihar which is dyed in wool where it comes to allegiance, is the Mahila vote and the youth factor. And this time I actually feel the youth factor will trump the Mahila factor in Bihar.
So maybe
and
the
just
MY...
to add to what Preeti is saying, Akshita, this is the same state which just voted 5 years ago to CPIML. There are 12 candidates of that party. How do you explain that? You know, if we talk about caste as the dominant narrative, yes, there is also CPIML, which fights on a completely different set of issues. They talk about completely different movements and ideology. How are they winning?
But those are pocket,
Yes, but 12 seats.
Okay,
so
let me bring in Raj. Let me bring in Raj on this. Raj, you've heard what everyone has to say. You know, Preeti suggests that maybe MY now stands for Mahila Yuva. Do you think we're reaching that time, we're ushering in that time in Bihar where it's no longer about caste?
No, fascinating to listen to those on the ground, and they probably know better than us. I'd only say a couple of things. One, caste, as I agree with everyone, is a reality, right? And I think it represents interest groups. Unfortunately, caste became a cause of great inequality in India, and a lot of these groups now are fighting. As you've seen, I think Maria rightfully pointed out, the whole Mandal movement took great root in Bihar, and the fruits of that we saw with both Lalu Prasad Yadav and Nitish Kumar coming to the forefront of affairs in Bihar. But I would just add, apart from what Preeti and Maria had said about, and of course Rajdeep had said about women vote, and now of course the youth vote, and I think Preeti specifically mentioned the migrant vote, which is about 7% if you look at it in terms of the overall percentage. But I would just add in this particular election, apart from the fact that each one is maneuvering properly in terms of the castes, and if you see what Tejashwi has done, is to get rid of this Muslim Yadav combination that Gaurav had talked about, has actually brought a lot more rainbow colors into it. Whether by getting the VIP in and nominating Mukesh Sahni, sorry, as the Deputy Chief Minister, Rajesh Ram, which is the Congress president, is from the Ravidas community, and therefore
it's still about getting that community mix.
So everyone understands that, even someone like Tejashwi understands that 32%, you have to reach something like 38% or 36%, as we saw in the previous elections, right? And to get to that number, all these small caste groups begin to matter, the smaller ones, whether the Mallas or anyone, 2%ers come in. Now, the idea, I think why it's become so important in this election is because Nitish Kumar is on the wane. This is probably his last election that we're going to see. He represented an EBC class that he kept for all these years, and anyone he joined with sort of won the Bihar elections. That, for a change, is now fragmenting. And so each of these, if you see, Tejashwi is now pushing hard to get all those votes that's there, because if he gets that 1%, he reaches 37%. The only big factor, I think, that will begin to really make the difference, where caste could be trumped, is that there is a mood for change in Bihar. I'm just listening to what Preeti as well as Maria, who's done both of them done some really outstanding groundwork on this, is you ask anybody, they want change. Now, who represents that change? For a while, you saw Jan Suraj and Prakash Kishore represent that, because they felt that he was getting the momentum. But with him pulling out and not contesting, now they have to find someone who would deliver on that front. So if you see, the momentum suddenly seemed to be, while everybody that you spoke to beforehand talked of the NDA having a clear edge and, it seemed like a done deal, till the Mahagathbandhan decided that they would make Tejashwi their chief ministerial candidate. That suddenly gave them the momentum. And if you saw, the whole attack was that Nitish Kumar had not been declared officially. So who's the leader? And suddenly Tejashwi, I think, has emerged as the kind of rallying force of it. So I would say it's still early days. But one of the big things that will change, that will trump caste completely, is if there is a mood for change and they want that, and Nitish Kumar is on the decline, we will have to see whether this will gather momentum and could propel all those forces that represent the change. And that could just, all this business of which caste you were, all that, they might just say, look, we need change. We like Nitish Kumar, and I saw that happen in Odisha. Naveen Patnaik, highly popular, but they felt he had run his course. And there was no other leader. They just wanted change. The BJP rode to power.